Hi, gang. Yeah, yeah, I gotta pull that list up. Oops. Mhm. I just don't know if I can come up with 26 more things that I don't like enough to talk about for 2 hours. Is the reality of if we do this for another year, which I've been having fun and it's more just a good excuse to hang out with you for 2 hours. I can hear you. Yeah, so we are Tim and I have been talking offline about potentially next year adjusting the format a little bit, um, just to not have to come up with individual topics to talk about, and instead a format that would be, one of the things I tossed out is we each bring in something that has happened recently or a product or something that we do like, a chance to be positive for a chance, and then also one thing each that we don't like, and to make it sort of like four things. So instead of having to come up with one thing to cover 2 hours, break it up, and then we can also, I think that'll lend itself more into some of our current events talk and stuff as well. Which I it's kind of stealing from a my favorite podcast used to be this podcast called Get Up on This. They used to be on the Earwolf Network, and that was like sort of they had a similar format. It was just stuff they liked, and then once a month they did Get Up Off This, which was then like the things then that they wanted people to stop doing. So I was like thinking about that podcast a little bit. I was like, we could kind of mush the two together because I do think the BS thing is still fun
Yeah.
and it's still a good like talk shit on some stuff that needs to get talk shit on, and but not necessarily be focused on the negative and again, not have to make that because there's lots of ideas that I have and I'm like, I can't spend 2 hours on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I was
I
saying,
got 15 minutes.
yeah, I was saying along with that, and I got my audio. It should be good now. But with like the problem solving. So maybe you kind of said this, but I was half listening, half problem solving.
Mhm.
But the one thing too is I was like maybe comment on some of the news as well too, with like so not necessarily something that we've had a problem with, but it could be a little more,
Mhm.
say, almost hypothetical. So something in
Yeah.
the alt cycling world, or oh, hang on one second.
At Dave 45 North super chatted $20. Mike fund for Tim.
Thanks. Dave just super chatted $20, said the mic fund for Tim. So appreciate that. Oh, wow.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. So, yeah, I was just thinking like something comes out we haven't necessarily used, like something in the like alt cycling world or just bicycling news, like, Campy comes out with 14 speed electronic, and we're like, that's bullshit. We should. That's like if it's like
Mhm.
the hot topic of the week, maybe we pivot towards that. And like if we had other ideas, we could save them or do them in the second hour, maybe if that works. So
Yeah. Yeah. Or I mean, the things that we bringing in something doesn't have to be a thing, right? Could it
mm,
be hey, I want everybody to know about this topic that came up or this event or something that we want to bring attention to.
yeah,
I think that will lend itself to that too. It's part of it.
yeah. As usual, they said I'm a bit low, so I'll turn you down a bit, so maybe we're just more even, and they could turn their stuff up.
Sure.
But yeah, I again, this is one of the things we were talking about before we went live. This is one thing that blows my mind. I can't figure out the way the audio situation works, because obviously we were able to hear each other, but you guys weren't able to hear me, and it was just that I don't know, my audio interface wasn't turned on somehow in the software. I have no idea. Anyways, that's boring stuff. So,
Yeah. Also, I am probably going to move my Zwift and personal laptop setup up to here, up to my office instead of my basement, because my son's playing drums now. So all his stuff, we got a drum kit. It's all down there. So I sort of need to. It's getting a little crowded, so I probably want to bring that up here, and then I'll have my laptop up here, so I can. I didn't want to like download a bunch of software and stuff like that to do like the GoPro webcam, for example, onto my work computer, but I have no problem doing that on my personal computer. So if that's up here in my office, then it should all my the contrast between Tim's video and my video will hopefully be a little bit closer. Because when I go back and watch these, I'm so blurry and like zoomed in and pixelated, and you're so crisp. So we do that, and then if you can fix your mic, I think we'll be
Yeah, I know. If we could level the
We'll be
mics,
solid, rock
level the
solid.
cameras, that'll be the 2026 resolution right there. So
there we go. Yeah, I'm ready to be done with this year, though. This was a terrible year. There's a lot of good things, but just shitty year, and I'm ready for 2026, and I have some time so I can do projects like that and stuff. Ready for it.
yeah, how do you think it'll feel like doing like Zwift up in the office? Do you think you'll like it up here?
Yeah, actually, I do. It's the ground in the basement is not very level, so I've always had to like stuff under one side to try to get the bars to go level across. The floor up here is pretty level, so I feel like I'll actually be a more even keel. I can notice if I'm doing the trainer a lot, like now that it's winter, like uh, I'll start to notice one like sores on one side because I'm like a little off kilter. So I think that may fix it a little bit as well. So,
Yeah, that was one thing about.
but I have to
No, go ahead.
figure it out. No, I just got to figure it out because I got to rearrange some stuff in the office here. It looks like I have a lot of room, but there's a lot of doors that open in, and I have all my packaging stuff over here that I need to be able to get to. So I got to like play around with that. It's just going to take a day or so, like just fiddling.
I was worried having mine set up again was going to be a pain, but it's actually much
Mm-hmm.
easier to maneuver the kicker core than it was that Saurus. So you can see, I think, kind of the bike is right behind me, so I'm just able to pivot it sideways because this is not very wide. I mean, but it's enough that we could get through, and then I could just turn it back towards the monitor when I need to. One thing I've noticed
Yeah.
about Zwift that's really funny. I mean, I knew this from when I used it the first time, but I need to be almost. I need to really be perpendicular to whatever the screen. Like
Interesting.
I really like if I have it offset, I really feel
Mhm.
like uncomfortable when I'm actually playing the game. So like what I'll do is I have the TV over here and I'll make sure I'm facing directly towards that, and then I'll put like a YouTube podcast over here on the TV we're talking on. But like the one that I'm riding towards, it like throws me off if I'm not facing directly towards it, or maybe it just annoys me. I think it's really weird, but it's
Oh,
like,
okay, that makes more sense. I thought you meant that Zwift needed to be. You're saying the thing you're watching needs to be offset. Okay,
yeah, I
that
need to be
makes more sense.
yeah, directly towards the towards Zwift, like riding directly
Yeah.
parallel with my little avatar on screen. So
I like to set the laptop underneath the monitor. So I have a TV and then my laptop. So I run Zwift on the laptop and then YouTube or whatever I'm watching on the TV up top. And then that I feel like that is a good.
oh yeah.
And I just go back and forth and see what I need to see. And the only problem then is like when you're doing something where you don't want to, like doing 10 miles a day, where it's just like sometimes I'm just doing the flat one and I don't want to watch the miles tick off one by one.
Yeah.
Not conducive for that. Sometimes I wish the Zwift was a little off, but I get done with it. So so yeah, eight days left.
Oh, and you're 10 miles, eight
We're
more
gonna
days.
hit the year.
Yeah, so
And
for
then I wrote.
go ahead. Finish that.
No, go.
No, I was at subject change, so keep going.
Oh no, I just wrote a list of things I want to keep going with a thing a day, but I like a longer list than 10 miles. So I think it was 1,000 feet, half an hour of like lifting at the gym, walking for an hour, or running for half an hour, something like that. Get a little, mix it up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, you mean you could choose which one you're doing each day?
Yeah.
I thought you just had to
that
pick
day,
one of
whenever I'm
those.
feeling I can go do it.
Yeah. In my
So
head, I was
no, not do all of those things.
no, I was thinking you had to pick one and stick to it, and I'm like, ooh,
No.
which one of those would I pick? Yeah, like so.
No, just still like kind of set aside a decent amount of time to do some sort of physical activity every day, but just like a wider thing to choose from. So when
Yeah.
my T band is acting up or when I have a saddle sore, I can switch to something else.
Yep. People are mentioning, and people have mentioned this in my comments a lot. There's a free cycling app that's supposed to be. I haven't looked into it. It's called My Whoosh, but
Hmm.
one of the things I've said about it is, I don't. It's just like, I guess I've compared it to like the Strava ride with GPS thing. Like there's a big element of Strava for me that is social, and
Okay.
Zwift has the critical mass of people that, because I usually like free riding, and I like that there's all those other riders out on the road, and I even
Hmm.
finished my last ride by racing like a little group up my route finished up a hill, and
Hmm.
so like three guys passed me, and I'm like, I'm gonna see if I could beat these guys to the top, and then I'm pretending I'm in the tour and trying to win a stage, and so I'm not
Yeah.
saying my Whoosh doesn't have that, but I don't mind paying $14 a month because it's only in the winter. I turn it off as soon as the weather gets nice, and I don't know,
Hmm.
they do a good job. And now since I've been on there, there's so many new worlds, and that's also why I'm focusing on the screen and just like putting like a video podcast on right now, because I'm like so much of Zwift is new to me since I left it. Like New York is so much bigger. There's a couple whole new worlds and all that. So
Yeah, they really expanded New York a lot this year. That was a thing with shoot, what was that event? They had an event and like a lot of it was expanding New York. I do that's the one thing I do like is the sort of stage race or events thing. So like I
mhm.
think they called it Unlocked. The one year there was Big Spin another last year, and they do like the Tour of Watopia or whatever the
Yeah,
Tour de Zwift. I love those like as an excuse to like, hey, there's gonna be a lot of people doing this route at this time.
same.
Um, it's not really a race, but so I really like doing those.
Yeah, that's that event you're talking about. That's how Terry B got into it. Him and his buddy Alex won the full trainer setup with the Zwift cog and a year subscription to Zwift. He was like
Oh wow.
he was like one of the like anti riding and indoors guy, and now he's completely
Mhm.
hooked on doing his like FTP program and all this stuff. So it's
Yeah, I've been seeing them do that. The FTP one is I have given up on that program before. The cadence is work on it is too much for me. I can't keep up with the cadence stuff. But I've been popping into his a little bit, and yeah, it definitely makes me uh, self conscious about my watts.
yeah, yeah, he's been
His
crushing it.
blue is like 250 watts. I'm
Yeah,
like, damn, dude,
yeah,
like that's my orange.
yeah. It's funny to see like he's been saying how he's like the thing I love about it is how hard it is. He's like, I can't believe how hooked I'm getting on it and all that. So
Yeah, I haven't looked into my whoosh. I know Ruby has a lot of similar
people
stuff
like
to
Ruby.
Zwift.
People like
Yeah,
Ruby for the realism. It seems it's supposed to be. It's
yeah,
real
because it's more
locations.
like a picture that
Yeah,
you're riding through rather than like a digital world. Um, yeah, I'm at this point committed to Zwift. I have all the stuff that I like. I have the routes I like. I know if I have a certain amount of time and I want to work a certain hard, like I know. So for me, I'm just gonna keep doing it. I do want to check out my Whoosh just because it is free. So I guess I could add it into the thing to just check it out. But I don't think I'm gonna pay for Ruby and Zwift, and I'm certainly not giving up Zwift. So
yeah.
how do you like the kicker core though?
Oh, it's such a game changer compared to direct drive. Is just so much
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
And I mean, when I got one originally, I'm like, I don't know how much I'm going to use this, so I kind of wanted one of the lowest barriers to still having a smart trainer, but
Mhm.
entry. And this, I mean, I think when this came out, it was like an $800 trainer, but now since they have the kicker core too, and it's already used, I got it for less than half of that. So
Oh, nice.
it's yeah, to put my bike on there, and it's just instantly. I was so much happier riding it. The spin down test works so much better. I could tell the problem with wheel on trainers is like you have to calibrate them so often. If your tire pressure changes, if the temperature changes, like there's just so much more affects them. And if you're riding a smart trainer because you're enjoying the game aspect, even when I'm just free
Mhm.
riding, this is like 1 or 2% accurate to watts. The other one was like 5%, but I think it was wildly off farther than that because I had been in races where I was off the front and I'm like, I have to cancel this because I'm crushing everyone. And it's because my trainer's completely inaccurate, Like so, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. It's so my bike makes more
That's what I was
noise.
gonna say. That's the biggest difference I feel is the quiet, and I do like the virtual shifting too element of it. So the one that I had came with the cog, so I tried it, and I think they're like, oh, it's more useful if you're like switching bikes back and forth. I think it's nice because you don't have to shift. You find a good chain line, and then you just use the paddles or whatever to because the when I had it, they had a special going on, so it came with those things that like go on the like by your drops, so
Yeah,
you can like slap some paddles on the side. to shift, and then so you don't have the thing where then like you end up in like you're not paying attention, and all of a sudden you're on 20% grade and you can't get the thing to shift, or like you make the worst noise I've ever heard come from a derailleur trying to like because you can't. It's not like okay if you're outside you hop off you like pick the back wheel up and do that on the trainer. You got to like undo the whole. It's a whole big pain in the ass.
I forgot to put it into the easy gear before getting off sometimes, and when you get back on, it's hard to get it going, especially on when it was wheel on. But mine is running mine's 9-speed bike, and I'm running the actual gears. But one of the other benefits of the cog, if it's a bike you ride a lot, then you're putting all that wear on your drivetrain. I don't ride this bike for anything else, so that doesn't really that aspect of running an actual chain and drivetrain doesn't really bother me. But
yeah, I put the disc trucker on when I started this like 10-mile-a-day thing, and I knew I was going to be on the trainer a lot, and I haven't taken it off. I think I've lubed the chain like 4 times the whole year too. But yeah, the quietness is, I think, one of the better. I mean, I don't know if I'd buy a new trainer just because of that, but if I was going in fresh, I can certainly say the direct drive trainer, whichever one you get, is going to be so much quieter than the wheel on. Like if you're getting in, I know it's hard if you're not sure if you're going to like it, because it definitely is. They are a couple $100 more, but if you can swing it and you think you're going to use it, the direct drive is definitely, like, for longevity, the way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, what was the one other thing I was... There's one other thing I was thinking that, just because I'm someone that will be really erratic with it. So if we don't get any snow for the next month and it doesn't rain, I might not ride it at all. The other one I would come back to, so I'd have to warm it up to recalibrate it. I might have flatted the tire because it's just been sitting there. You know, like not having a rear tire is really nice when it's something like me I'm going to use here regularly, and it's going to sit, I know, all summer. I'm not going to jump on it at all in the summer. So the other one, it would be a whole new setup every single time, and like it's just a better system. And again, it is more expensive, but it's just a better system.
When you do have it dialed in, and it makes it so easy. I'm not in a situation where I can always just hop out whenever I want, as much as you can. When I have a normal 9 to 5 and stuff with kids, and sometimes I'm not starting till late, and for me, it's just that barrier, removing all the barriers to just be able to like throw on bibs and run downstairs and pound out some miles without even really having to think about it. Definitely the way to go.
100%. Yeah, and again,
but I will say I have been pleasantly surprised with how well I've been acclimating to some of the lower temperatures. I've done some 20-ish, 25-degree rides and been cozy. Other than, although I will say this year I switched to like regular bike shoes, and they definitely in the summer is great because of like all the breathability, but now in the winter not so much. So all those people that have the what I thought was dumb little cover things for all their leg shoes, I'm like, oh, you need a little. I'm like, okay, no, I get it. You need a little cover.
You need a cover for
So I'm in the market for one of those coming up here. They're also not nearly as expensive as I thought. They're like $20 for a lot of them, just to break the wind, or just to. That's really all I need. Because even with good socks, my feet have never been cold before, but like a 10-mile ride outside in 25, now my feet are getting numb, like even just being out for under an hour. So I was gotta give.
Yep, feet are the thing. Like I figure I find ways to keep my hands warm, and there's still times where like an hour in really cold temperatures, like it'll get to a point with my feet where I'm like, okay, I gotta wrap this up. But I need to get a new pair of, like Ben recommended, a large Marge pair of hiking boots. Can I ride flat pedals? He's like, you just need to get warmer boots. Like, I've got bigger riding shoes that are winter oriented, but I can't put any more sock in there because then once you start to compress all that space, you're defeating the purpose. You need air to keep your feet warm. So, but yeah, I did 2 hours in that day. It was like 14 degrees, and my feet at the end started to go bad, but I was close enough to home that it wasn't a big deal. 2 hours to go 11 miles. It was so snowy.
And I'm surprised. I don't know that many people that ride with pogies, but you're the first person I think that has done sort of that deep dive on them and found them to not necessarily be a positive, because I feel like a lot of people love them. And I was always like, maybe. And then, watching some of your stuff has been like kind of affirmed. Yeah, they don't seem that great.
Yeah, and people absolutely swear by them. So it's like
it's your baskets.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's what I should do. We should do that in the new year because it'll still be winter. They are my baskets because man, a good set of lobster gloves is just as warm. My big thing is the reason I really like the pogies is,
Mhm.
or I would really like to like the pogies, is because then you could still use your hands. You know, if you just have some thin wool gloves on under them, and I need to get my phone
Mhm.
out, for me, always getting the GoPro out is a big deal. But yeah, they don't work. They don't work for me in the way I ride because I also leave my bar at a brewery, my bike at a brewery, and then you come back out, and then your bars are now cold. The bar mitts are your hands
Mhm.
need to warm them up, but you need to put gloves on because your hands are cold, so your hands can't warm it up. And so, at that point, I'm like, I could have just put on warm gloves that were in my back pocket in the brewery with me,
Mhm.
you know. So,
Yeah.
but I
I'm
know,
curious because we were talking a little bit beforehand about. I'm thinking about getting the. So I got some Best Buy points I got to use. The DJI whatever Nano, and I wonder how those do in the cold if they hold their battery okay.
oh
Because I know the
yeah,
GoPro that I have sucks pretty bad. Um, but like it seems like it's fairly simple, just one button operation. So I'm hoping like I can do the
yeah,
the magnetic thing and then like zip the coat down a little bit and then like I don't know, we'll see.
yeah.
But
I
if
yet
anybody has any experience with those in cold weather in the chat, I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, the small action cams, the new like modular ones, if you know if they last.
Yeah.
That's one thing with your GoPro, you said you're using the 10. Do you know if you're using the batteries that have the white on them?
The blue one. I definitely keyed in on that when well, I think it was a video you had. I
Yeah.
forget if it was that or a stream. But yeah, no, it's the ones that are not good in the cold.
That you have to change. I mean, it's like cuz I couldn't figure it out and I think there's something they've changed too with the GoPros over the generations where you definitely need that battery because I remember recording in the cold back in like the 8 and 9s and not having a problem. And I just think maybe they were
Hmm.
smaller and there was basically just more shielding or they were generating more heat themselves because they were smaller. But yeah, now
Hmm.
without those batteries, they're like unusable at like 40 degrees, I've found sometimes. So, especially if it's going to be
Yeah, it
out in the
makes
wind.
sense. 'Cause I was always like, why are my batteries going dead all the time when it got colder out? And that I never thought about that part of it. And yeah, makes sense. But yeah, I think I'll try to start making some more stuff, like video stuff. I made like 3 videos a while ago and haven't touched it since. I would like to do some more, not necessarily full time, but just
Yeah.
do some more stuff.
Yeah, even yeah, all the all the rides you're hosting too. And the simpler that's why the modular camera, if it works, would be so
Hmm.
great. So it's not like taking over an aspect of your social time, but you're just pressing the button to capture the clips, to throw in,
Yeah.
which tends to be the way I film if you notice when I'm with friends because I'm not someone who makes everyone wait while we go and set up the camera and ride by. I I pull it out and film what's going on around me and then clip it back on my bike till something interesting happens. I try to be as when I'm in a group, I try to be not disrupted with it. I don't make my living doing
Mhm.
this. I would rather have fun with my friends. So
Yeah. 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 So we'll see. I'll report back maybe if I end up pulling the trigger on it. You want to get into
yeah,
recap of 2025?
yeah, why not? We've 24 minutes. Why not? Not that I mean, like, yeah, year end, anyways. But
Keep us honest if we forgot something or if we went over, because I think both of us, our list is I still have I have a little whiteboard over here. I still have them from when I wrote them down. I think I erased all the ones that we did,
hmm.
but I'll make sure. But so I think we ended at racing categories.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
when we said racing categories are bullshit, and you came up with a solution that seemed to make perfect sense to me. So I
yeah. So to recap it, my concept was that the racing categories are, I think, bullshit because it ends up creating gendered categories, first of all, which is my main thing that I think is stupid. And especially with trans athletes, it is especially disruptive because then there's the whole debate about whether the women that are not born women should be allowed to race in women's categories, etc. And my point was, well, if you already have categories that say people that are between this fast and this fast are racing against each other because they, in theory, should have similar capabilities, then why don't we just take gender out of it and make more categories and just say, okay, regardless of your gender, if you're between this fast and this fast, you're racing against people that are between this fast and this fast. And you could run that all the way from the novice all the way up to the, pro categories in racing and not have to deal with gender whatsoever. I think we all sort of agreed on it, but some folks have made some comments to me that I guess, and it's funny because I think there's Wout van Aert had made some comments about like the way that bike racing is funded and how it's so sponsor heavy, and it leads to a lot of like bullshit, and that if there was different ways to fund bike racing, such as like charging for premium spots, spectator sports, or like key spots like the Tour de France, for example, or when you go to races in like Belgium for cyclocross, it's a small, we're not talking like scalpers and $1,000 tickets, or there's something like, hey, it's a certain amount of money to enter the event, and that funds the event so that they don't have to worry about sponsors, and then it reduced the like stuff like sponsors getting pulled. So I think I was naive a little bit in how much money really is coming from sponsors, and so I had some people point out that there are a lot of people. The reason why women's sports and categories and whatever is because people want to target women, or want to like at least outwardly seem like they're friendly towards female racing and things like that. And they said that some of that money might go away if it was not a female specific category. I think that's fair. I think that's probably like a growing pain thing. And I have no qualms that any of this is actually going to get adopted. I have no pull at the USA Cycling or the UCI. They're not going to watch this live stream, unfortunately, right? But like, I think that would be a growing pain. That would take a little while for that to work its way through. But I think that there would be enough. My point was, even when we do a little local crit, we're still able to get the sponsors to fund it. It took some time to find the right people that found value in supporting local racing, or we have a couple good pros, but we don't have a lot, but we still get funding, I think, commensurate with like the quality of the event that we're putting on. So I'm sure, as somebody is still sponsoring national level racing, and there's people that are sponsoring international level racing, right? So like, if they were only going to spend money at the top, well, then you wouldn't have
the other things,
national sponsors, right? Then all the money would be going to the UCI Grand Tours, and there would be zero money left for local events, and that's just not the case. And I think it would end up working itself out similarly. But yeah, I think it would be harder sometimes to differentiate, or to go after like people that are targeting more niche demographics, or say, whatever you want to call it, to say like that. So I think it would just come down to like the price would be different for different categories of racing. In theory, the higher ends are going to yield more eyeballs. The lower ends are going to yield more local feel good stuff. And I think it'll work itself out, over time.
And again, if we want to talk about like sponsorship and money going to the sports, the top end pros in the male category already make way more than the women.
Yeah.
So would that, where the women are winning, where in the scale would that put them? Would it put them so far below that it would affect them, or would they still be getting the same salaries because the men are already making so much more? No, there's no woman who's making what Tade's making or what Wout is making,
right.
So.
Yeah. And in reality, it really wouldn't shake up that, because I think it would be a big deal at that point for how far ahead they are. It would take a long time before I think women would be competitive with those guys. Mm-hmm. So I'm using literally the term guys, not as a just catch up, but like literally those men, because they have had the dollars for generations to get towards men's sports, that they are so far ahead. I think that would even out, and you might see some more mixed. But I think at the middler levels, you would see more women on those mixed podiums, and they would be getting the attention in some bigger races and things like that, because they'd have a chance to like actually compete. And then they get, the better teams, that they would be more mixed. They'd get better funding for training and resources for training, and not have to work day jobs as much, and at the higher levels. And I think it would all. So my idea hasn't changed, but people have definitely a little bit of just some personal conversations with some people that race in women's categories have pointed out that there are some dollars that are happening because this is a women's race that might dry up. So that's my only asterisk, I guess. But no, I don't think I'm changing my mind on that.
I still agree with what you had to say. I will also say, like we said the last time, we're two white dudes. So,
Yep.
like, so I would definitely,
This is a very will even the playing field against white dudes. I
yeah,
think plan.
yeah,
Virtue signaling, whatever you want to call it, but
yeah,
it'll. I think it's coming from a place of like helping non-straight white dudes
yeah, yeah,
do better at racing.
yeah,
Now,
yeah,
and again, racing it's kind of bullshit anyway. But we've had this conversation. We both like watching it, and it has its place, and it's just should be everything in bikes, but it is nice that it's there for the people that like doing that.
yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. It's one of the few sports I still really watch. I have completely zoned out on the NFL and stuff like that. So, yeah, and I can. One of the things I think we've talked about a number of times, but when they talk about the amount of power a pro cyclist is putting out or their time over like a certain distance or their average, it's different than any other sport because I can relate to it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
how fast a wide receiver or a safety is doesn't mean anything to me because I don't run short sprints. Like, but when someone like
Right.
rides up a mountain at this mile per hour, I know exactly how insane that is. You know how different
Yeah.
they are than me, and how long it would take me to ride up that mountain. So it's always been one of the other enjoyable aspects of the sport for me. But
Or even going back to Zwift or Ruby or whatever you're using, I before using that had never I did not have any idea what a watt really was or what 400 watts feels like. I cannot hold 400 watts for 5 hours, but I have gone 400 watts and I know what that feels like, or like what what power that is. So like then putting that in the context of Teddy Gotcha averaging 400 watts at zone 2, like I have a
yeah,
concept of what that is and how impressive it is. I've never run a 50-yard dash. That's what I'm saying. I don't even have a context for how fast they actually do it. But I guarantee you, I've never run that. I've probably never even sprinted as fast as they're, for up 10 feet that they're doing that. So like, I have no concept of what that takes or how fast that really is. Right. So
yeah, there was a great.
yeah,
Did we talk about this? There was a great video Francis Cade made. I don't watch all his stuff, but they took Pogacar's average watt output from the Tour de France and they set the trainer in erg mode to that. So if you set a trainer in erg mode, it makes you do that power no matter what your cadence is. No matter what you do, no matter what gear you're in, you have to do that power. And they just had a party one night where they all hung out and they all they just said they were just seeing who could hold Pogacar's average from the Tour de France for the longest. And it just shows you how absolutely insane and superhuman these guys really, really
yeah.
are. But and how crazy it
I was
is.
trying to explain to my dad too recently, or when I think I was at his house when we were watching Tour. I was like, "But hey, I didn't want to finish watching this," and like trying to help him understand like like Tadej Pogacar is the Michael Jordan of this sport at this point, or the LeBron, whatever you
Yeah.
want to call it. Like trying to help him understand that he's like, well, but he didn't win. However, I'm like, it's not about. I'm just telling you like the absolute dominance and da 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 da. Anyway. Yeah. So I don't know. Racing categories. Anything else
Yeah,
we got on that one?
still bullshit.
No. Still bullshit. On to boutique derailers.
Oh yeah, boutique derailers. I'm still mixed. I mean, I'm mixed on boutique derailers. I think I still come down on the same side. I think since we did this, the silver derailers now, the ones that Riv has made, are out in people's hands. But I haven't seen any. I've only seen, I think, really Pathless Pedals like review of using it, and he's using it with a SRAM, it's not a SRAM, but it's a knockoff SRAM, so it's a double, whatever SRAM. This horrible road shifting system is called. Talk about bullshit. SRAM drop bar shifters are the most bullshit thing in the world. I know I'm a minority on that. I just hate them with a passion. But either way, he said it is weird, like getting the muscle memory to like double pushing in and having the derailleur move in the opposite direction. That's not what they're designed for. Like the idea of rapid rise is that, if you go shift, it goes into an easier gear, not a harder gear. But regardless, all that, I still am glad people are innovating in outside the mainstream cycling niche. And these things are going to be more expensive because of that, but they're there for the people who want them. So I still think boutique derailleurs are not bullshit, even though I'm not probably going to pull the trigger on any of them. So
Yeah. I'm less heated about it as I was at first. I will. I forget. I don't think it had actually come out when we had done the episode, but I think it sold out in what, like a couple hours. Like it was
It went
essentially
fast.
like a
And they
Taylor
had,
Swift concert ticket or
yeah,
something. It was.
and they had more coming for the record. So people were like, it sold out in 2 hours, and it did. But they already have like the next batch was already in production. It's going to be out. I think they said
Mhm.
even did they say December or just beginning of the new year? I
I've
can't
been
remember.
following it.
Yeah, but so
I
they
think they just closed up shop for the year, and it. Wait, no, they didn't. They said they're gonna be open, but whatever the last email that came out, they didn't mention it. So I doubt it's coming out between now and the next week. Um, yeah, so that one was, I think, more of like a just kind of being wanting to shit on the Cult of Riv a little bit.
yeah.
It's a good product. It's yeah. And like the other thing too is like silver is not my preferred component color. I like black components because I'm metal as fuck. And or my repulsion
like my
shirt right
like
now.
my
Come on.
like my cat over here.
Yeah, exactly. Like I like all black components. Um and yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is good. Like it's I'm sure it's gonna be a great trailer. I think is it necessary? No. Is it going to change the world? No, but you're right. Like how many things do I have opinions on that are niche and da da da? So like that was more of, I think, just a emotional reaction rather than it's actually bullshit. No, it's not bullshit. I think we all agree, like in theory, if every derailleur was like that from the start, yeah, and that's a better design.
Yeah,
I just don't think it's we're relearning how to shift.
yeah. And plus, you
We're dealing
prefer
with it on that
electronic
one. Like,
shifting, and this is talking about this derailleur is specifically for friction shifting. That's the point of it.
right.
Like, which is not in your. It's just not your world. And I don't. I mean, I have a wall of friction shifting bikes over here, but I barely ride them. Not for that reason, but I don't know. Like there's a. As I had the STS bike guys on, where they're working through a prototype of a new ATB. When I build mine up,
Yes.
I think I'm going to be looking for functioning Shimano like mountain bike group set for it. Whereas their whole thing is they put electronic SRAM. They love electronic SRAM. That's what they spec like their bikes with. And I'm going to be like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm going to need some cable hangers on this because I am going to put some 2 by Shimano, mechanical on it. So, I would be closer to the market for boutique derailleurs than you would ever be, probably.
The real, like, I will say though, if you recall, I forget which episode it was, but I have gone on the record that I am now either electronic shifting or friction. Index is dead to
Oh,
me
that's right. Yes, yeah. You're no
because
middle
I just feel
ground.
like,
That's right. No middle
yes, there's
ground.
no middle ground. I
Yeah.
either want it to shift exactly right every time because it's hooked up to a servo, or I want to be able to control the minutiae, like infinite trim
Yeah.
on it. Anything with index is only going to yield bad shifting or cable stretch issues and all that other stuff. So I feel like I either want pure control or like no control. I don't want the middle ground. So I'm not opposed to friction shifting. I
That's
don't
right.
have it on many bikes right now. I could see myself, if I'm building another bike, putting that on, or if I was going to change around the cross romancer at this point, I'd probably switch it over to friction from an index bar end shifter, because again, to me, that's like, I got the bar end, I want it to just be friction now.
Are you sure that one doesn't have a lot of index bar ends? If you switch that inside, like there's it's like a little metal
I
ring.
haven't fiddled around with it enough. I
Look,
mean, I
it
got it
might,
kind of like
it probably
this
has a
season. I
friction
got to
mode.
look into that.
It might have a friction mode.
I'm not even sure which shifter it is. I have not really put that in the stand and messed around with it. I've got taken it for like 3 or 4 rides. I'm gonna ride it tomorrow. The coffee outside tomorrow, and the trail is a little icy and snowy still. So I want the nice mountain bike tires on that bike for this ride tomorrow. But
Yeah, don't unscrew like your
yeah,
don't accidentally undo your tension so it won't hold. But if there's someone there who has experience with those, ask them if like one of those
Mhm.
switches it over to friction. So,
At some point over the winter, I'll put it up in the stand. I'll tinker with it. I got some other changes. The gear, I bought it from Ryan Stannis, who I'm sure many people know, but dude's got legs and I don't. So his gearing choice was a little steep for me, so I need to either swap out the granny gear on the double, or I need to. I think I can get from a 36. I think I can put a 40 on the derailleur he's got on there now. So one of those two should put it in the right range for what I need to do. But like right now, when I hit a 15 to 20% grade, I run out of gears very very quickly on it. So I It's going to take some tinkering over the winter. I just haven't felt like messing with it yet.
I feel like going with the figuring out how small the second front chainring you could go would be the way to go, and that would be like Russ
Yeah.
pathless pedaled style of like basically it's a like he always says he's like my two
A
bys are
wide
like
range of
yeah they're one by but with a bailout, you know what I mean? It's like you're not in that inner
yeah.
ring often, but when you need it, it's there to have that extra easy gear. And I think that's like a really good philosophy on those kind of bikes. So
Yeah. Yeah. I would say it's more of an imperative for me personally. With my size and climbing, I just need even my bailout gear is never, people are, you just spin up it. And like, there's no, at some point, once the grade gets about probably like 12 or 13%, there is no spinning anymore. It is fighting for my life, even in the lowest gear I got. And I think I had like a 20, I forget, a 24 or something like that on the disc trucker with a 36 in the back. And even that, which is, the problem is at some point you're not putting enough force forward to keep the bike upright. So at some point there's like a point where you hit and the gears are too low. And now I have a useless gear or two on it. So it's like, but anyway, yeah, my size, I'm sure some other people in the chat, I know we have some bigger folks in there, can sympathize. It's like, yeah, at a certain point, it's not even like, oh, just spin up the hill. Don't worry about how fast you're going. I'm like, no, even at that speed, it is.
yeah.
We were in life and death situation here.
Yeah, I know it's funny because I did watch a whole video about how like there's no more effort into climbing if you use your gears right, and I'm like, I know you just did the science on this, but bullshit. Like like I get that I could just go slower and spin, but like you said, it's like that meme about bikes, like it's about buying a bike on Craigslist or whatever. It's like how low will it go? And he's like, I don't know, 3 miles an hour, anything below that, and it falls over. It's like that's like you can only go so slow. Like I mean, like and you can only spin
I think you're
so.
putting more effort to just like hold the bike upright. Yeah.
Yeah. Hey Dave, when you
But yeah, I've come around. I mean, I
by
still
any
think the
chance-
Nivex or whatever that
the
something that
Renaers.
you were talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you
that
look it
one's
up?
so crazy. That,
It's crazy. I
yeah,
think it's
there-
absolutely crazy, but I'm not mad it exists. It's for eccentric. He's an eccentric dude making a. I mean, you literally have to have a frame builder weld on an entirely new mount in an entirely new way, and it's talk about shifting in a new way. It runs it's a double cable shifter, so it like, which makes sense. It's tensioned both ways. I mean, take Rapid Rise to the next level right there, But yeah, I'm
Come
not
on, Grant.
I'm not mad it exists, but I think it was what $900, right? And that doesn't include the cost of getting someone to braze on new hangers onto your chainstays. So
We're like, I feel like it's getting into concept car territory. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is something that you could do.
yeah.
It's not practical and it doesn't make a lot of financial sense, but like, this is what you could do.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Yeah, I mean, I talk about like, when you look at a JP Weigel with that Renaer's crankset on, that costs so much money because it's still just a simple crankset. I'm sure it doesn't shift any better than a beautiful Velo Orange silver crankset, but it's a really beautiful crankset. You know what I mean? And it's small production. There's not that many. It's made in the U.S. Like whatever, But for people who have it, I'm not mad that they would put one of those on. And if you can afford a Weigel, you're already in. Why not get the the perfect parts for it? But
Yeah. But I don't know anybody personally that has the Riv one yet.
me either.
I don't know if Miggy got one. I feel like that's the person that I know because like Miggy is pretty not this. I don't mean this pejoratively, but like Miggy will get anything. Not anything. That's because he doesn't have like road doing and stuff like that. But like he's very into the ribs. Has a lot of them.
Yeah.
It's another thing. I feel like he would have that just to have it. You know what I mean? Sort of for the collection, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But I haven't had a chance to talk to him much recently because he was in Mexico and
Yeah.
haven't been riding bikes with him as much. But yeah, I don't. Do you know anybody that actually has it?
I don't even think I follow anyone on Instagram who scored one. And I know Peter was talking about that. Peter from Detroit, that he thinks they're cool, but I don't think he tried to score one either. So, no, I have not seen any like non-YouTube type thing about him. Like,
Okay.
bigger someone who got one, specifically because like, Rib wanted Russ to have one. I haven't seen anything like that.
Right.
So,
Okay. Yeah, so I'm curious to see once they're out in the wild a little bit more. Throw a leg over one and see how weird it is, or
I really want to
much
try
better. But,
one. I've never tried a
yeah.
rapid rise. I would just really like, and I would definitely want to try it on like a, like stem shifter or down tube shifting bike. That's really where, and I know they'd probably be more geared at bar end, but I would really like to try it on to feel it in like the aspect of the way I've friction shifted most of my friction shifting bikes. That's a tongue twister right there. If a friction shifter could shift friction.
Yeah. I have, it's funny because now would actually be the time that if I did have it, would make the most sense because I'm just starting to get back into like
Yeah.
a bar end or a friction shifter where like I don't have like my brain is still doing the which direction is up and down. I haven't like because again I've only taken like 4 or 5 rides of that bike, so I don't have that like muscle memory of like this is harder. So I feel like very easily adapt to it right now because I don't know which way I'm shifting anyway.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But
I just so
anyway,
I rode a
curious.
I rode a fat bike I borrowed, a Surly Wednesday yesterday, and
Yeah.
it had SRAM one by, and
Mhm.
I only tried to go shift the front chainring a couple times with my other hand, but I cannot imagine a world because then I rode my Gunner again today with Shimano mountain biking shifters, like
Uh-huh.
SRAM flat bar shifting, how you have to use your thumb for both, and there's a giant gap between them. I don't know if the concept on that is that you never have to take your index finger off your grip then maybe. But when I
Mhm.
went back to Shimano today and I'm like, my fingers don't have to move at all to make the shift, whereas how far your thumb has to go to get to that tiny lever in the back on the SRAM. And I was like, I thought
Yeah.
SRAM was supposed to be better in the mountain biking world. And this is all mechanical, not electronic.
Mhm.
Because I do think people say SRAM electronic is better. But whatever. I was really surprised by, I'm like, God, Shimano is not just better at drop bars; they're also better at mechanical flat bar. I don't know.
I had SRAM on my Santa Cruz before I sold that bike. I don't remember it. I mean, remember, yeah, it was like weird to like continuously want to shift with my pointer finger. But other than that, I got that didn't take a long time because I feel like it was still the same kind of like the lower one is easier, the other one is harder. So like I feel like it didn't mess me up
Yeah, because they're
that
in the
bad.
similar
That
positions. You're just using a different finger to shift
yeah.
them.
I think a lot of the SRAM electronic shifting comes down to more of like that it's just an easier setup versus Di2. You're running wires through
Mm-hmm.
your seat tube and you have like
Yeah.
more hidden batteries versus SRAM. The payoff is, or the trade-off is you have to remember to charge the battery that's attached to the thing, but that's fairly easy. And also you can get extra batteries for that system. So when I was looking into the two, that was sort of the decision point is like, okay, that's an easy thing to just, I always have a little seat bag anyway. I'll just throw an extra battery in there that's charged up and swap them out every, few months. So I've knock on whatever. I have not had a, switching to single speed on electronic shifting issue thus far. Um,
Terry just said he uses his pointer finger as the upshift from the front and the thumb from the. So I wonder if I need to change because I thought about that. I'm like, can I shift this with my pointer finger? And the way it's set up, it's not. So maybe there's an angle, or it could be moved towards the grip because there's a gap between the grip. So maybe there's a way to make that happen. But the way this bike is set up, I couldn't practically do that. I had to use my
got it.
thumb for. So maybe it's just the other owner is just different arm length, different setup, and so I need to.
Okay.
Maybe I just need to angle the shifter differently. But yeah, for me, if I was like, if I'm supposed to be reaching my thumb to hit this thing, that is not practical at all.
Yeah, then maybe because like I really don't think it was. I think it was just this. I don't think it was that
Hmm.
funky at all. So maybe it's an angle thing. It's somebody though I didn't until maybe like 2 years ago. My friend Sully showed me because I had big puffy ESI grips on a thing, and it was like the one I forget if it was the up or down, but like it was like kind of like hitting on it. He's like, the on these Shimano ones, the one goes both ways. I'm like, what? Do you realize that?
Wait.
The one shifter will go up or down. Like you don't have to use the bottom one.
Oh, an electronic, you mean?
No, no. On Shimano flat bar shifters, the newer ones, the
Oh, I
top
don't.
one can go up or down.
Oh, I think I don't have anything more than 10 speed. So I
This
don't.
was at 10 speed.
Oh,
Sora, like nothing crazy.
on flat bar Shimano, you could use the top to go
The
either
top,
way.
there's the thumb one, and then the top one. You can't like multi shift through the gears, like you can't dump gears with it, but you can use that one to go up or down. I didn't. I
Wait, you could push it.
just learned that
You could
2 years
push it
ago.
backwards again. Like you push it
Mhm.
backwards. I don't think mine
Yeah,
does that.
check it out because it might.
Huh?
Help me
Mechanic
out in the comments, but it was
10
mind
speed.
blowing to me. I don't use it that often because I was able to like change the angle and I got it so that I can still use the one that you're supposed to use with your thumb. But yeah, he's like, oh, just use the top one. I was like, what?
I need to see if that happens. I, but it's so funny because my Shimano has been, so my first bike, the bike that I use as my winter bike, I bought it. It's not my first bike, but I bought it new in '01 or whatever. Is 8-speed Shimano rapid, like whatever they called it, rapid fire, and
Mm-hmm.
it hasn't really changed that much to the modern ones for the rear shifting. So yeah, mentally I'm so just locked in on that. I never even would have thought to try something different. Yeah, I'll have to. Yeah, so maybe I have never just pushed down the lever the other way. So
Yeah. I think somebody's mentioning, yeah, it's like because if you have your other fingers on the brake, then you just use your pointer finger and you can just shift down with it without having to. Anyway, um, oh hey, yeah, Terry's in here. Yeah, Axis. I think I have not owned a bike with Di2, but from riding friends, I think Axis is the way to go. And I will say the Axis hoods are really nice too. They're good chunky. I never really like micro shift hoods or whatever what's the one that State uses.
that's not microshift.
That's No, they have like a proprietary one that
Oh,
it's a it's a rebrand of I think Sencha, I want to say maybe.
oh yeah, China.
Um, but I never really liked those, and so I always thought I was like Shimano hoods were the most comfortable until I've had these, and I think these are actually a little bit better than the Shimano ones I've had. They're also the same form factor. I think I could be 100% wrong with this. I think all of the different levels are the same form factor though, which is nice. So whether you're getting the lower end or the higher end, it's the same hood.
Yeah, I definitely. So I've ridden flat bar electronic uh,
Mm-hmm.
SRAM. Actually, on the Gunner when I first borrowed it from Otis, he had it set up electronic, and I was like, "This is really nice, super intuitive." So when I talk shit about SRAM, it's only in the mechanical world
Mm-hmm.
because I get to ride a lot of the bikes at Dirty River. Otis is my friend, Ben's my friend, so he's like, Otis will be like, try this out or test this for me real quick, and so, and I know my muscle memory would get the hang of it, but I just can't see a world where it's a better system. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, I would get the muscle memory. I would be fine on it. So when people say like SRAM versus Shimano and I talk shit about SRAM, I'm only talking mechanical. Like I totally prefer Shimano for mechanical shifting. So, and I
Gotcha. Sorry. You know what?
go ahead.
30 frame builder corrected me, and he's right. Sorry, I'm misspeaking. It is you can be pull or push, but it doesn't shift the other direction. It's still doing whatever that lever would have done. So I'm sorry, you
Oh,
can't shift up or
gotcha.
down with the thing, but you can push it the other way because that's what the problem it solved was because it wouldn't matter that it was like getting blocked in that one direction. I could push it the other way. That's what it was. Sorry, I'm stuck in my butt. Like I said, after I readjusted it, I haven't had to use it since, but mine was blown. I never knew that was a feature that was on there. I've ridden Shimano on most bikes most of my life. So. Thank you for keeping me honest, thrifty frame
Yeah.
builder.
Yeah, I just watched one of my favorite. It's a giant channel, and he was like a tech channel. He made a video. He's like, "This is every mistake I made this year." It's like we're only like 24, and when you're a tech channel that puts out 2 videos a week, I was like, "Wow, that's impressive." I'm sure if we did every mistake we've made on this live stream, or I have, that list it would be a whole year-long series. So,
Every hood is too small for Terry's hands. Interesting.
Terry's tall. He's a tall dude.
Fair enough. That's wild. I do they make like oversized is that a thing?
Yeah, but
No?
SRAM like especially when they have hydraulic brakes, their drop bar levers. That's a big chunk to grab onto, right? I mean, it's almost like, yeah,
I haven't had a drop bar SRAM hydraulic. I don't
uh,
know.
yeah, they're big. Like those hoods are big. Like, huh.
I never thought about that problem, but yeah, I guess that is a thing.
Yeah.
I am big, but my hands are not necessarily big, so I've never had much of a problem with that. I have long fingers, but
Little Trump hands.
yeah. Cool. Anything else on boutique derailers?
Nah, I think still kind of the opinions all kind of all over the place. Like I said, I'm glad they exist, but it's a little bit of a cop out because I'm not buying one. So
Well, we always get a lot of mileage out of tires and anything shifting related. Everybody seems to want to join in. The next one up was that Wawa is bullshit, which I continue to stand by. Every time I go to Wawa, I'm disappointed that I did.
yeah, the problem with that conversation is it turned out to be too regional because
Regional.
people did. People are like, "What about this place?" I'm like, "Well, I've never been there." You
That podcast we were talking about before that I really liked, that was like kind of the impetus for the idea to potentially do next year. Whenever somebody would bring in something regional, they had like a little like audio clip that was just like regional. But
That's what we need to figure. That's what we need to figure out how to get your computer
Do
to
a
be
little
like
drop.
soundboard, because that's what my we used to talk about this with Brad and Ben. They wanted to record a bunch of stuff like whenever a certain person chimed in, like Jay Dandy was in here earlier, like a little, Dandy or
give
whatever.
control to somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's in the chat. That'd be funny.
Yeah.
They always had the Street Fighter one too. And there was the perfect.
Yeah.
Love that one. Wawa, Ontario. Is that a place? I don't know.
Oh wow, is that where they got their? No, I watched. It's funny because
Maybe the old logo used to be geese,
Canadian
but I
geese.
highly doubt it. New Jersey changed for sure.
I just watched a whole. I think it was a Vox video on the growth of Wawa and the reasons and comparing it to the other chains, and now I can't remember where it comes from originally. Wawa, Ontario has a statue of a massive goose. Dimitri says so. Oh, that's what it was. It was when Jay Dandy.
Logo have a goose still?
It was when Jay Dandy
That's
said
right.
maps, Ben, and
Yeah.
they wanted to record a maps.
Yeah, there we go.
Anyway.
No, we can have a ton of fun with that.
Yeah. I also like
That needs to be.
I also like when podcasts have a like that buzzer, so like you say something and Dave could just, or he could get me with that too. Oh, come on up, bud. Hello.
The Bedman.
Got to say hi.
Anyway, so for those that didn't listen to that episode, hey, Wawa is by far like in the hierarchy of accelerated cuisine at a gas station. My opinion, the worst.
Huh.
Every time I go in there, and I do need to put an asterisk on there that being vegan, there's a lot of things I can't have, but from what I hear, the lunch meats are nothing to be good at. And my son will eat the most garbage pizza in the world, but hates the Wawa pizza. So that has to tell me that something about that is pretty bad too. That they came out with pizza now, and it's been going downhill. I feel like for a long time, and they got rid of the cherry pepper relish, which was like the only saving grace in my opinion. That's no longer on there. So screw that. But I think Sheets we had discussed this would be my preferred. I have not gone back on this. Like I said, every time I step foot in a Wawa, I'm regretful and solidifies my opinion that it is the worst of those chains.
So I already went through this amazing coincidence that the one Wawa I've been to 4 times, and it's been randomly like, oh, there's a Wawa at this exit. Let's get off. And it's like, I've been to this Wawa before. But I also said I did eat there with a vegan, and a very picky vegan who thinks it's awesome. So I have not changed. And maybe it's because I don't get Wawa around here, so I'm traveling and I'm in a good mood. I'm heading to Nutmeg, but that one Wawa that we go to when we get off the freeway every time has been fantastic. So
I will say that part of the reason I do drive an hour to go to the cyclocross thing that I go to is it's, as a fat person, it's a good excuse to get sheets every week. Because they don't. So that's possibly part of the thing too, is we don't have sheets around me. Like they do the Lehigh Valley, which is half hour, 45-minute drive west. Is where they start. They kind of I think realized that Wawa and Quick Check already kind of have New Jersey in a stranglehold, so they didn't try to break into that and they expanded west into Ohio and other places. That's why you guys have them. They started in central
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and Altoona. So we don't have them. So it's a nice treat when I get to go to one, especially because it is my favorite. They did have it in college where I went to. But yeah, every time I go to Sheets, I'm glad I did and find something new. And they have these new awesome coffee machine things that are sort of making Americano instead of like the pump out of the other coffee thing. Like, so it's making it for you as you order it, and it's not any more expensive than it was before. It's fantastic. But yeah, they're just innovating the game over there.
Yeah, I mean, when they first opened around here, I mean, especially because what would that have been? Because the first one I went to was in Medina on a date with a girl. It was her. She took us there. She was out in Medina, which is more country-ish, or was back then. Now it's not even. But it was like, yeah, ordering at like the kiosk thing was so like innovative. Like that was like, oh, look at this. Yeah. Like I don't know. Like, I'm in the future. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh, somebody said Wawa is the Native American name for geese. I didn't know that. That makes sense then. Why? I always kind of wondered why the goose, I guess, because it's not plural, was on their logo. That makes more sense.
I just
also a little adding to what is the term cultural appropriation? Not cool.
Yeah.
Not. So excuse me while I reason here for a second. Sorry.
Yeah, reason. I thought I really did think you were saying the word reason. Like, excuse me, why reason through this? Like,
right.
No, why reason through this? Yeah, I think we're on opposite ends of the spectrum of this one because obviously the Sheets gave me the sheets on the sheetsery, and I had to run off into the woods. So, or actually. When I say woods, I mean the trees next to a McMansion. So,
yeah, I really do feel though. What I don't like though is that Wawa is expanding. I feel like part of the allure of a road trip to me is like getting to see more of this regional accelerated fast food cuisine. And when one place kind of like expands, so I'm like really happy we don't have Buc-ee's in the Northeast because it's a thing when you're on a road trip and you see a Buc-ee's, like good excuse to stop. It's something to do. Buc-ee's isn't that amazing in my opinion anyway, but like, hey, it's a cool thing to do because we don't have these, right? And like, that's half the fun thing road trip is what do other places have? And when you get that mono culture across like the gas stations, I feel like it ruins the road trip in a little bit of ways, you know? Like,
just like all the restaurants, like you can't get off a freeway exit right there anymore and get anything but the same stuff. It's become boring, and it's just the model, and that sucks. And like I said, I had two friends who traveled for work together for years, and they would always joke like, "Oh man, they got a Fridays here," like like.
My brother used to live in like Midtown West, which is like the most boring place in Manhattan. And I think no, it wasn't Fridays. It was Johnny Rockets, which is good. But like they would go to they lived in this amazing place. They would go to Johnny Rockets like twice a week. I'm like, what are you doing? You live in one of the most cultural, diverse food cities in the world, and you're going to goddamn Johnny Rockets, a national chain, twice a week. What are you doing?
I remember seeing the line. What was the pizza joint? There was a pizza joint in Times Square, which like every neighborhood in the country has, and you'd see there's a line there, and I'm like, you came all the way to New York to pay 3 times what you would normally pay for what you have in your neighborhood? What the fuck are you doing? Like,
What's a coffee vocacino?
I have never heard of that.
Oh, is he explaining it? There's coffee, hot chocolate, spice Captain Morgan rum, and Nipah. Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah. I'd sip on that.
Yeah. Is that a thing, or is that something you made up, Don Parsons 1237? Anyway.
Yeah.
So
anyways, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good. Wawa, yeah, because it sucked. Probably it was in the heart of Sheetstown.
I agree with you. The thing that makes, even if there are corporate chains that are capitalist and expanding, one of the things that makes a road trip unique is at least it's something different. And to me, even the name Wawa, I was like, that's wild that they would go with this because to me,
Mhm.
I don't know. And this is going to sound racist. I thought it sounded Indian or something to me. I'm like, oh, what is this, like an Indian food place? And I'm like, oh, this is just their version of Sheets out here. Like I just did not
Yeah.
expect, you know.
Respect to Quick Check though, which is like way more local and has not expanded, and I think it's kept the quality up a little bit more. So
Are they good?
that's if you're coming through New Jersey, try maybe skip the Wawa, try Quick Check.
I think did I tell you this when we did this stream? How I think it might have been this year on the way to Nutmeg. I can't remember, but anyways, I saw a Quick Check for the first time, and I was like, "That's what a Quick Check is," because you know the Bouncing Souls that talk about New Jersey. I'm sure you know who
Mm-hmm.
the Bouncing Souls
Yeah,
are.
yeah.
On their second album, they have a song called "Quick Check Girl," and it's about
Mm-hmm.
stopping in to see this woman that he had a crush on. And I had always assumed, because he says we'd count the papers, I always assumed it was like some check cashing place. I did not realize it was a modern convenience store or whatever.
Probably literally talking about counting the newspapers.
Ah, that's what it would mean. Count the paper. Yeah. In my mind, it was always like, is this like he's like going to get his paycheck or cash his pay? I never understood it, and then I finally saw it. I'm like, that's what a quick check is? No idea.
They're nothing fancy, but I don't think those locations need to be in that. Like anyway.
Yeah.
But it's Cheese is amazing, but it's better than Wawa, and it's hyper local, so it's something that you will only get in this, especially in like more of the. I feel like they're a little bit more concentrated in like north central New Jersey. They still have them like down south, like in south central New Jersey. Not quite down. When you get down further south by Philly, you're definitely squarely in Wawa territory there. But so like that was always the thing. Like we didn't have a lot of Wawas when I grew up. There's like one I think in the area we had Quick Checks, and so it was like the Wawa used to be the thing that was like on a road trip to go to my aunt and uncle's house that was like down in South Jersey. We'd Wawa, but now they're everywhere, so that's what it is. Wawa Hoagie Fest would be great if the Wawa Hoagies were any good. But it is nice that they've latched on the Hoagie name, which I don't call. That's a South Jersey thing, and we don't do that up here. Anywho, that's all I got on accelerated gas station cuisine.
I think was the only other one we had that putting a bunch of bar mounting stuff is bullshit. I don't.
Yep.
This was the last one we did, so I doubt our opinions have changed much on the topic. But
no, I was trying to think. There was something. I've seen more people now that I've been paying attention to it using like Geno style mounts. And other people had more opinions that like there is a more nuanced way to do so. Geno mounts being the like a little handlebar size thing that you can put under your fork. For those of you that don't know, I've been seeing more of those as I've been paying attention to more like how people are setting up their lights, how people are riding in the dark more. So maybe the problem was with me. I wasn't setting something up right. But again, it still doesn't fix the problem of the stupid lights mounts all needing proprietary little rubber gaskety things. And if you don't have if you lost that or you can't find it, it doesn't do you any good because it's still not going to fit right on the Geno mount because it wasn't fitting right in the handlebars either. So yeah, I don't. There's something else about that. I was trying to. We were comparing notes on, but now it's loose. I've lost it. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, so I ended up. I think this is probably since we had the conversation. I bought a fork mount. What do you call them again? They're the round fork mount things, so you could mount your light.
Geno.
Oh, that is what they're Geno. Yeah.
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 I think we're talking about that. It's a bolt that goes in, screws into the fork, and then
you do like a little. Yeah, exactly. But the weather changed, and I just haven't been riding that bike after dark yet. But with the Festa 500 starting tomorrow, I am going to put that on and mount it just to make sure. So I will have opinion on whether the wheel shadow bothers me and all that. But again, that won't be the right situation because I'm going to be trying not to ride gnarly off-road stuff, whereas that's where the bar mount really bothered me because my bag casted such a big shadow over what I needed to see the gnarly terrain, whereas when I'm doing the Festa 500, I'm trying to get miles in, so riding gnarly stuff is stupid. But I'm sure I will. Like that's kind of the funny thing is I still do dumb stuff and like try to complete it, but we'll see. I do have to work a number of times next week, so this is going to be the toughest attempt at the Festa 500 ever. So
Is it stuff you can ride to at least to pick some miles off?
There's a couple that I need to bring gear to, so I have to drive.
Mm.
Like one's a video thing where I need a bunch of stuff, and then some are family portraits where I'm going to bring lighting gear because I don't know what their house is going to be like. So
Mhm.
it is definitely going to limit how much I could, or it's going to take a couple hours out of the day for sure. And then also,
Is this like people have family coming in from out of town? They don't see a lot, so they're trying to get like family portraits
yeah,
done and stuff. That's cool.
yeah, because I never advertise that stuff, so it's usually through a friend of a friend or through a friend, type thing. So the day after Christmas, I have one, and then on the Sunday, I have one, and then also my dad's having a surgery, and I don't know if, depending on how he's feeling, if he wants visitors.
Mhm.
Like if the weather's okay and he does, it's up in Cleveland, so that might be a
Right.
benefit.
Yeah.
I'll ride up to see him during the visitor time, and that might make it, because it's about 35, 40-mile ride probably to the
Mhm.
hospital he'll be at. So that might actually make it easier to get some miles in, depending on how it goes. But yeah,
Yeah. From what you did that before, it's like an 80-mile day, right?
yeah. And my mom has a
Man,
hotel up there,
Good for you.
yeah, that I could crash at too, and then ride the next 40 miles the next day. Because
Oh, good point. Yeah, you can break it up. All right.
I think it averages, if you keep up on it, I think the 500 averages to a little over 33 miles a day.
Oh, really? Okay, yeah.
It's not
But
crazy.
you have to. That's including riding on Christmas Eve, and doing it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Which usually you will miss the miles on like New Year's Eve or Christmas Eve or
Mhm.
Christmas Day. It's like something will happen that once you miss one day, that 30 miles then, and your mind gets spread out, but that doesn't necessarily, so then you get a 20-mile day and it just compounds really, really quick how far behind you could
I can
get.
imagine. Yeah.
So,
I have not tried it. Maybe one of these years, but good for you.
yeah, we'll see. Like I said, this will be the toughest one, but I was saying if I have to, I might see if I could hybrid it, and because the trainer miles do count now. So,
Yeah, they count. Yeah.
yeah.
There's a bunch of events too. I feel like on Zwift for people trying to do Festive 500 miles. There's always like Festive 500 specific events on Zwift.
I'll have to look into that because I
Keep an eye.
haven't paid attention. Yeah. What about your
CB with
list?
a bunch of other people are trying to do it too.
What about your list of smaller things from the year that are BS?
Yes, sure. VOA straps.
Wait,
Not a BS. I've been really annoyed with them lately.
fillet. It's just fillet straps.
I call it VOA, but so fancy.
Panniers. Yeah, pannier bags and violet straps.
Similar to panniers. I have heard so many different pronunciations of them. Somebody called it Uncle Jay called it a Valier strap, and I was like, "Where the fuck are you getting Valier?" You're just adding letters now. You're not even like accentuating stuff. You're just straight up adding extra consonants to this word. Valier, Valet straps, VOA, whatever you want to call it. I keep putting them in backwards, and then having to undo them, and like, I still have some of those infinity straps you sent me like years ago. I need to start seeing about trying those a little bit more. But anyway, yeah, I don't think I could get an hour on. I'm gonna have to really work on
Valet straps being bullshit. God,
kind of bullshit.
I am so specific on what they're for. They're for holding Paradise style bags, and there's nothing that is better at doing that than they are, because they don't really stretch. There's the most minute amount of stretching. I mean, you're already ratcheting it as hard as you can if you're trying to get to the next spot, and they're so thin. So like Brook saddle loops to hook, your Swift Zeitgeist onto your Brook saddle. There's not a better solution. That is the best solution in the world for that, in my opinion. And then also, if you're putting one, so I'll often tour with 2 Swift Zeitgeists. And so on the handlebars, if my cable routing is coming out from under the bar tape, belay strap, it's the thinnest thing. So I could also get it right underneath the cable, because you don't want to obviously put a strap over your cables. So I think for that purpose, they're great. But yeah, these Model Infinity tools for like doing other things where I used to use valet straps. One time I was taking a shovel on my bike to get my car undone, and I was trying to navigate with those things. Total pain. But for holding bags, I do think they're the best. There's not a better solution.
for some, I've seemed to have come into two little saddle tool bag things that need a the ones I really like have the integrated strap. They're part of them. They can't come off. They're like sewn into it, you know. But I've come across like two of the ones I use now don't have that. But like I had one kind of fall off of me the other day, and that was like one of the impetus, like fuck this thing. And I always find like I always somehow seem to need the in between size. So again, those things you can kind of you have infinite trim on your little infinite tool there. So I might try those a little bit. But yeah, they've been sort of annoying me a little bit lately. And yeah, and for whatever reason, my brain, I've been switching handlebar bags out a lot because I only have the one. I guess I have two, but I have one big bag that I'm switching between bikes a lot now because it's winter and I want to be able to put coats and a lot of stuff in there where usually I'll just have random bags and random bikes, but I want to move that one specifically between bikes. So I'm undoing and redoing a lot, and I'm often find myself like being annoyed with them. So just a small...
Undoing and redoing them is annoying. In general, I almost always keep...
Hey, once you get them in and they're like locked in and like that one thing on the back is not a great scenario for them because they're really good about like wrapping around a bar. So I know I was just talking about handlebar, they are great for mounting things to handlebars. Agreed. But like when you don't have as good of a purchase to like put it on like saddle rails and stuff like that, I just find that if you can't get it tight enough, then they're kind of too loose and gonna risk like coming through. I think I'm gonna start trying more of the Infinity ones.
Yeah.
And also I have the Night Eyes, Nitize, I think they are gear ties. So they're sort of like, they look like big pipe cleaners, but they're like coated in like a rubbery thing. And once you get them sort of through, basically just by twisting them more, you can tighten them as much as you need to. So you can kind of get them on loose and then like put the other one on. That's the other thing with VLA straps, you have to be able to like at least get it tight enough on the one side if you're doing something like a bag to get on the other. Whereas like this, you can kind of just get it loose enough to hold it in place and then do the other one. And then afterwards kind of go back and ratchet them because you don't have to have them on tight. So I think those would be good. But yeah, I just like the ones that like wrap around with a purpose-built thing that is big enough to carry this thing at max capacity. I like those that are the best, but short of that, I think VLA straps are Vollier VLA straps are just not, they're not the catch-all that I don't know, they once were. And like I said, picking the size is annoying.
I definitely
charging good.
But yeah, real quick, like initial setup sometimes is a pain in the ass, especially on the rear, where I'm like, say I've already put a couple things in the Zeitgeist. The one has to go through, like, you can't tighten it down until the other one's on and tighten down, and then this one falls out. I definitely think they have their annoyances, but if you're locking something in place, like a bag, I do think they can't be beat once they're locked into place. But anyways.
Yeah. For the back, I really have enjoyed the Bagman, but it's just not conducive unless you have like a million mounts. They're not really easy to switch back and forth between bikes, but like once they're on there, especially for like bike packing, I feel like it's very easy because they can hold it while you're securing it and they have like a purpose-built thing to make them come together. And it really does do a good job of holding that in the back. So I'm for rear mounting stuff. I'm all about the Bagman lately.
Makes sense. Yep.
This one's possibly very niche, but charging a subscription fee as well as a per transaction fee.
Wait. As well. Oh.
Well as a transaction fee.
What is this for?
It's very niche.
What case?
I am looking at different. So switching from, I used to use Wix for the Party Size website, and that handled my event management. They had a module for that, which let people RSVP and stuff like that. And then also had the ability to charge a fee within a web form. So I could have my membership form that if you wanted to sign up for the premium one to get like the cool swag that we did, we did the reflectors last year, exclusive, Tim Fitzwater exclusive. We're going to be doing a stem bag for, I think I actually did talk about this, so never mind, it's not exclusive, but we're making a custom stem bag with Wampy for this year. But I switched to Shopify, which is great for e-commerce stuff, but not for other stuff. Doesn't have the ability to do all that other stuff. So there's an app by some guy in the Netherlands, or a company in the Netherlands back there, called Cycle, CYQL, that has all the right stuff. you can like post a ride, people can RSVP to it. You can do the waiver right in that, so they have to like sign the waiver when they're signing up for the ride, and then they have a module that can let you manage membership. So like you could set people to be premium members or free members or whatever, and it'll send them a link to charge them for the membership fee. Great, but it's like they're charging a $300 subscription fee for that tier that lets you do that, and then they're doing a per transaction fee to them of 4%, and then they're also charging for like I still have to pay like for payment processing on top of that, so it ends up being like an extra $5 to $10 on top of that. So again, very niche, but like I've been very pissed. I don't think I'm gonna do it because of it. So if you're gonna charge a subscription fee, you already got it. So don't be greedy.
Yeah, and man, Squarespace. They get you with that initial like great rate, and then they nickel and dime you over everything. Like it's man.
I feel like Shopify is a little bit of the same because the platform itself is it's actually cheaper than Wix. But then everything is like an add-on app that will charge, $5 to $10 a month. So then, which is nice because then if you don't need stuff, you're not paying for features you're not using, but you feel like you're getting nickel and dimed constantly with Shopify. So
I try and explain that to people who because I raised the price on all my stickers over the last year because so many people would order one, and then you're like envelope, stamp, like my time, Squarespace subscription fee, credit card transaction fee. You're like, there's no meat on the bone here. And then I'm like, well, this is being subsidized by the people who buy a t-shirt and 10 stickers. Like that's all, but it's like, it still has to go up a little bit. And you're like, it's someone's right to go to your website and buy one thing. Like can't be mad about that, but you can't have a $2 sticker anymore. You just can't. It's just not worth it. Even though that's what I'd rather charge, because the cost of the sticker when I get like 200 or 300 from Cleveland is going to be less than $1, but it's
yeah, I think I ended up solving that by just not creating like a shipping tier for that, and just they would have to pay for whatever the cheapest tier is. So most people order one sticker, they'd add on, which kind of sucks because so I essentially killed my sticker sales, which is not the end of the world. I wasn't selling that many stickers anyway, but yeah, I don't even think I have any up on the website since I stopped using Sticker Mule. I haven't kept up enough of an inventory to feel like I'm in the sticker game these days. So yeah, I totally understand that though. And then international stamps too, where I was shipping stickers internationally, and that's like $1.20, I think, for an international stamp, which is not cheap. Anyway, balaclavas, I think is the right term for it, are bullshit.
So there's so many terms for this. This could be called a neck gaiter, right? You're just talking about the tube you pull over your head.
Balaclavas are the ones that are like sort of purpose-built to go completely over your head, and they usually have like a cutout for your eyes.
Oh, yeah, total bullshit.
Cover your mouth and nose, just have your eye open.
I don't want anything on my face. I'm only a neck guy. From here to here.
Come up with get your mouth liquid all over it. Like I feel like a sucker because I keep thinking the one that I buy is going to be the one that fixes it, and that it's going to be like make winter riding so comfortable. And they put holes in it, so yeah, it's still goddamn get soaking wet after like 5 minutes of riding. How have they not fixed this yet? Maybe they have, but I haven't come across one that has.
There's no fix. You just don't cover your face. It hurts for 2 miles, and then you're fine. You wear glasses. You're covered up to here. You pull it up to here if you need to, and if it's so cold that you get a merino wool one, you pull the neck gaiter up over here, it gets damp, but you have like this has a neck thing, so when you need to pull back down, you could like flip it over so that wet part isn't contacting anything where you need it. Yeah. There's no solution. That's
what I end up doing, but then it defeats the purpose of the balaclava, because the whole nice thing about the balaclava is it does cover all that stuff. You reach through your nose and you're just fucking up your glasses.
You use it to get to the point where your face is going to be warm enough from putting in some effort.
Okay.
Climb a hill.
I have not given up hope, though. I ordered another one from REI that's like a mixed media one that's supposed to be neoprene across the face, and then the buff material on the head and stuff like that. And like, maybe that's not going to get as wet. I'm sure it's going to. But
yeah. It's just
I'm at my wit's end with them.
Now I'm totally against face coverings. face coverings are bullshit.
I don't know. I really do when I have it for the first, like when I do, because I'll usually start without it, and then when I put it up and it feels great for a few minutes, and then it just gets soaking wet and gross. But like those couple minutes are glorious. I'm like, if this could be, I would really solve every part of my body other than like we just talked about now with cycling shoes. My feet have been a little cold, but manageable. Like this is the last frontier for me
What
to
about
just be able to like.
What about maybe a snorkel? Maybe you could just put a snorkel.
So I did, and this would sort of like reinvigorated me to try to find a solution. As I was watching the Impossible route where that they were doing in like the snow with the fat bikes, and they had one that had like a vent, like a valve over here.
Oh, yeah,
and that makes me think that might be the solution. But I don't know. I couldn't find one that was.
Yeah, I know I'm the opposite on this because I think there was a stream you weren't on. We were talking about winter clothing, like between one of our weeks, and Bradley Cordora is in here. What's up, Bradley? I already saw him, but he did say merino neck gaiter, which I agree with is the best solution because at least if it does get damp, it's not going to make you cold. But
okay,
I just I did that 14-degree ride for 2 hours, and initially, like again, I said I pulled the neck gaiter up for a little bit. But then once I'm warm, my face just doesn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm lucky. My face just doesn't stay cold. I don't know. I need glasses. I need glasses for sure. I can't have my eyes getting hit with that cold air. But as a non-glasses wearer, I still wear glasses, even anything below 40. So
glasses fogging up. I did find a product. I got a company that makes a product called Nerd Wax.
I'm gonna have to take a leak. If you want to talk to the chat for a minute,
sure.
I'm not going to make it.
Cyclotron, allow me to speak to you directly. Cyclotron.
Hate to move this guy.
Nerd Wax. So it is a the product. We can still hear it. The product was like a little chapstick thing that you put on like the bridge of your glasses, and it helps it from sliding down, it really does that well. They also had an anti-fog product that I got, and it works okay, but it pretty much requires reapplication either every few hours or every ride, pretty much. So I find myself not using it, but it did work better with that. It's just like a little spray that it was a cloth that's treated with something. So you wipe your glasses with that, or I'm sorry, you breathe on it to fog it up, and then you wipe it clean with that specific rag that's been treated. And it supposedly creates a barrier and stops the fog from being able to form in glasses. It does work-ish, but again, not super. You have to reapply it pretty often. And once it fogs once, it's pretty much done. So as soon as you fog once, you got to stop and reapply it if you're going to do it. Don't know what to say. I'm here by myself. Anybody got any questions for me in the chat while Tim's gone? Happy to. It's a favorite punk rock holiday songs. Father Christmas by the Kinks, hands down. Oi to the World is obviously a great one too. The whole Vandals Christmas album, Oi to the World, fantastic. But Father Christmas by the Kinks is the one I usually go back to. Proto punk, but I'd still count it. So I was asking about punk rock holiday songs. What's your favorite? No, he can't hear. Punk rock holiday songs, Tim. What's your favorite?
This is an easy one. Merry Christmas, I Don't Want to Fight Tonight by the Ramones.
Oh, good one. That is a good one. I was saying Father Christmas by the Kinks. I think that still counts, even though it's proto-punk.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good one. Oh, this is what's going on here. All
right. Record of the year for me, I don't think I really had one this year. Your record was pretty good. Listened to that a lot. Dill Bliss by the Sainthood Reps that Brad's in. Great record. Go check it out if you haven't already. My Spotify, this is a thing I'm doing. I did it a few years ago. I'm restarting it. Doing 365 albums next year that I have not listened to and like tracking them. I did this years ago. It was great. But I realized I'm listening to like the same 3 All Out War records and the same 2 Slayer records, like on repeat, and I need to get out of that funk. So this is going to get me to do that because I realized, like, yeah, when this came out, I really hadn't listened to too much at all for this year. But Tim, what was yours?
If I had to go record, I think I probably only listened to one record that came out this year, and it was Todd Snyder's record that came out right before he died. and so it like rocketed up the charts for me because he had just passed away, and so it got me listening to all his other stuff and really enjoying his latest one in a very sad way as well. But that would probably be, yeah, High Lonesome and Then Some, which is also such a great title. And so Todd Snyder, if you know him at all, like a folk singer type dude, but definitely, yeah, I don't,
Yeah.
yeah,
I guess so. I'm just cycling through my thing here. It came out late, but I have a feeling the new Health record, Conflict DLC, is probably going to end up being the one from this year that I listened to the most. Crippling Alcoholism was another good one that I listened to a decent amount.
I haven't listened to that, but I'm very familiar.
And the One of Nine record, sort of a atmospheric black metal record, was pretty good. And the Age of Apocalypse, Grim Wisdom. I guess those were my records of the year.
You know what? One of my top 5 would definitely be is All Summer Long by the Beach Boys, because when Brian Wilson died, I'm like, my dad was a fan. He saw him very early on with Brian Wilson when they were still like striped shirts and all that at an amusement park in Cleveland, and like I'd always listened to the hits, and I'd heard probably more than he had, but I'm like, I'm going to start at the beginning and actually listen to all their records and like see what they're like. So I spent a lot of the summer and in summer months in Ohio. That's exactly who the Beach Boys are for. People from Ohio.
What they had in mind.
Yeah, like so yeah, the Beach Boys like on my like so I don't use Spotify since I pay for YouTube Premium, I have YouTube Music free. So if I stream music, that's what I use. But on my thing, I think the Beach Boys were number 1. Unfortunately, I looked it up, and I think their counting stopped somewhere in November because I think Todd Snyder probably would have overtaken them. And if I just
I think it's up November 15th or 30th or something like that, or right before there. Yeah.
That annoys me. I wish it was like Strava where it kept updating until the first. You
know. Speaking of which, your favorite Slayer record not being Show No Mercy is bullshit. Unpopular opinion, but that I listened to a shit ton of Show No Mercy this year. Early Slayer, fucking.
With Fairy Tale, Brad said, so I would agree. This is and I guess you would consider the Pogues punk rock no matter what. The song doesn't sound punk rock, but Fairy Tale of New York is the greatest Christmas song of all time. Like I would.
I'm not a huge Pogues person, so I don't know that I've heard that unless it's like one of those songs I just am not thinking about.
You would not hear it in American radio that much. It's very popular, and it's extremely popular in Europe. It will always rank number 1 in any kind of chart that includes like Europe stuff. But for me personally, it is too, because even before I knew that, I was a fan of bands like the Pogues and stuff. And I can't. Elvis Costello challenged Shane MacGowan. He said, write a Christmas song that's not cheesy. And he wrote Fairy Tale of New York. And it's like this time of year, like after we get off the stream and I have a couple beers, I'm going to listen to the version they played at his funeral. Then I'm going to watch the actual video. So yeah, definitely. It's perfect. Right. It starts out, the first line is, it was Christmas Eve, babe, in the drunk tank. So it's definitely a Shane MacGowan, Pogue song. Right.
I'm embarrassed to say that, when Flogging Molly came out in like the 2002-ish era, like with Salty Dog. And then, I listened to that record a lot. And then at some point in college, heard the Pogues. I was like, this sounds just like Flogging Molly. And then I was like,
oh no.
I'm an idiot. Let's see. Micro USB is bullshit, but I think nobody's gonna argue that one.
Everything about micro. My only last thing is my my helmet light on my Kali helmet is micro USB, so I do have to keep one around. But everything else I have is, besides my stupid iPhone, which is still Lightning. But I'm not going to upgrade for that reason yet. But I do hate it with a passion. But
speaking of when we were talking about SRAM before, the battery, the thing that you have to plug in to charge the battery is micro USB. And I'm like, why? You came with this great technological product and you fucking made it micro USB. What is wrong with you? So I still have one of those. I do have all my like bicycle charging stuff on one spot now, and I have enough cables. That's never a big deal, but obviously it's just a pain in the ass putting it in. But I really wish we could kill it off once and for all.
It is killed. Like, so it is because
I know it's pretty much killed, but like cheap stuff is now all micro USB.
Well,
now.
because Europe has made everything USB-C, nobody
Mhm.
is really manufacturing anything new with micro USB now. So even a lot of the camera companies, like with the point and shoot craze, they've been reissuing. Like Canon came out with a new point and shoot. It's just an old point and shoot, but it's USB-C. So you can't
Got it.
make if you're going to sell it in every market, you can't make something that is micro USB anymore. So that's a
Okay.
Europe saving our asses again with the
With
regulation.
everything.
Yeah.
And the last one I have is saying shit but not doing shit.
What does that
Bullshit.
mean? You kind of have to elaborate on
I don't remember why. This is just a
that.
list I had.
That's just what you're laughing at yourself.
Sentiment stands though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was more coming from a like, hey, stop complaining about stuff, and if you want to see change, do it.
Oh, I'm all about that.
Also, like, show up to stuff. You know what I mean? Like, as somebody that runs rides, the best you're always like, oh, blah, blah, how can I help or whatever. Just show up. Like, that's the best thing you can do to keep a scene going or to make a club, if you will, work. Just show up to stuff. Like, you know, even if it's not always the most convenient, sometimes like just consistently showing up is the best thing you can do to help make. Because that is one thing I will say. Like, night moves this year, kind of. Last year Night Moves is a little like so Night Moves for videos don't know, that's the Friday night ride that I run. We ride to a liquor store, we ride through some chunky stuff. Sometimes it's fun, you know, we tweak it to whoever's there so everybody has a good time, but it's, you know, it's basically like a Friday night hangout. But it really relies on people being there, because if there's a bunch of people, then it's fun because you're talking to a lot of people, there's a lot of people, different people to hang out. When it's just 3 people, it's not, it's still fun for the people that are there, but it's like if a new person showed up and there was only 3 people, it's a good chance they're not coming back. If they showed up and there was 10 people, they tend to come back, is what I've noticed, right? So like we had kind of a funk where a lot of our regulars through just life had just stopped being able to make the Friday night ride. So last year was kind of dwindling to the point where it was almost like, is this dead? Every like, you know, rides come and go, right? But this year we finally kind of caught on, and some people started driving in from out of town, and we started having routinely good crowds. And so when new people would show up, they had a good time, so they kept coming back, and it sort of like snowballed into like kind of save the ride. It's back again. But that relies on people showing up. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things where like, yeah, it's not fun if there's not a ton of people, but if you don't show up, then those people that do show up aren't going to have a good time. So you got to show up. You know.
I definitely.
You want to build a team.
So one of the all the time, almost at least every YouTube video that is not me solo vlogging has people saying, "I wish I had friends like yours," and I have talked about this a lot extensively with my buddy Brad, who you know, like adult friends take work, and just like you said, putting on a ride takes work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not easy as an adult to maintain friendships. You have to do it. It's work, and so like if you want to ride with other people, you can't expect to just be invited out. Like, you know, when I first saw Miggy and all his friends at Higher Ground Hundo in PA, I'm like, oh, this looks like a cool group of people. And I like had a little feeling of being an outsider. But of course, this is the first time I showed up. This is the first time I've been in this community. It's like, if you want to do anything, you need to walk over and say hello. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even simpler than that, because the community is super welcoming. But people talk to who they know. Why wouldn't we? When I see you, I want to talk to you. So if me and you are sitting there, it doesn't mean don't come over and say hi. You know, come over and say hi. But like, I always tell people, I'm like, check your local bike shop, see if they have a ride. Even if that ride's not for you, show up a couple times because maybe a couple people there will be people you want to ride with. Check Facebook groups if you're still on Facebook. Check Instagram. Type in your town and bike and see if there's anything there. And if not, start the Instagram page that is bike, Wawa, Ontario, you know, whatever it is. And then like, just be consistent, because that's how it happens. Like me and my friends started a group and we rode on the same day. And anytime we saw someone on a bike, we invited them along. We have closed it down a little bit because of this channel and the bike shop being open. We didn't want it to become like the bike party. And we still go and do those other events as well. But it's like, man, if you want to have bike friends, you've got to put in some of the effort sometimes. Like, it's not going to just happen for you. Like my friends aren't my friends because I was born with them. These are all people I met because of bikes. And I don't hang out with my old friends that much anymore, you know, but you know,
Yeah, same.
but it was because
Yeah,
we put in the work to build a community, not because a community just accepted us in. You know, it's
yeah.
we made it. Otis Dirty River, he's been in the chat tonight. He has done that for Akron in so many ways, and it's like, and I get that everyone doesn't live in a region like Northeast Ohio that is very populated. A lot of people ride bikes. A decent amount of people ride bikes, but if it's not there, then maybe you got to be the guy. You know, God, how
Yeah.
do I have flies
Or
this time of
drive a little bit, which sucks because
year?
obviously driving to ride bikes sucks sometimes. But like, I go down to Trenton, volunteer at their thing or go on some of their rides, and then you meet people that might live. Trenton's like an hour south of me, so like not exactly the we don't have a great overlap of Venn diagram of areas that like both people go to both, but there's a bunch of people down there that don't just live in Trenton, they live maybe further north Trenton, so they're like half hour, and then you meet people at that, and then they come out to your ride or you ride
Yeah,
with them, or and so you got to put in a little bit of effort, and at the beginning it might mean going to somebody else's ride that's a little bit further away and meeting people that might live closer to you that are also driving to that. I mean, party size cycling, I was not already a stalwart of the local bike community. I started this because it was like nobody's doing rides I wanted to do. So I just started with asked a couple friends that weren't into bikes. I had one friend that was, but like another friend that was the core three of like the start of party size cycling was not into bikes at all. He had a bike, wanted to hang out. It's like, yeah, we're gonna do this. He's like, yeah, I'm down. You know what I mean? So like invite people that aren't into bikes and get them into bikes, and you just
yeah.
gotta, yeah, it takes effort, but it's worth it. I don't know if you know Eric Kozakis, who I might be butchering his name. Sorry, Eric, if you're listening, but he's like outside Philly, but like far enough outside that he attends a lot of the Philly stuff, but like doesn't have a lot going on. And so he started doing a coffee outside thing. And then, at first, I think the first time he did it, nobody showed up. But then the second time, some people showed up. And then now it's sort of like, so he took that to heart and was like, yeah, I just need to start something out here and people will start doing it. And it's consistency, right? So you have to be willing to show up. Like when we first started doing party size cycling and started doing coffee outside, foreign concept to a lot of people. A lot of people didn't get it. We were also trying to do it weekly, which I realized for our area was just not feasible. But there's a lot of rides I was by myself, and okay, that's going to happen. Like you have to be willing to do that to make it work, but trust that if you just are consistent, and putting yourself out there, people will start showing up. So.
Yeah, Donald had mentioned from Cincinnati that this community should do something. So I do the industrial gravel ride every year, and I've now moved it so it's the day before Otis at Dirty River does the Otis Roubaix, which is a hill climb challenge, which, again, he finds every single hill in Akron and he makes a route that is brutal. So it doesn't mean that's going to be for you, but then there's going to be an after party if you don't want to go with that, if you want to do a simple ride. And it's a course that you can it kind of loops around a bunch so you can bail at any point, hit the bike path, and get to the after party and meet everybody else there. So I piggybacked my ride on the night before, and we do that one as a no drop. I show everyone a little bit of the industrial gravel, but don't make it so you can't come as a beginner. So we do it, and I am not like you, and I've always said I've appreciated like talking to Conversation Place, like Instagram name down in Tampa.
Yeah.
Like I just like
Yeah.
I'm always blown away by Steve, people that are willing to be the organizers, because that's not my. It's like me and my buddy Ben. Whenever we try to host stuff, we are just so overwhelmed by like worrying about everyone's good time. We don't do well at it. So I'm like, once a year, I make sure I have something. But I've always told people, if you're rolling through Akron, hit me up. But yeah, so one time a year, I do make a thing for this community, and I piggyback it off Otis's thing. So if you do want to come in town and get a hotel, it's not like there's only one thing happening. You're not just getting a 20-mile ride and some beers and stuff like that. But again, there's a bunch of ways to do this, and that's why the Discord channel has that meetup and ride section. It's like I've watched so many people, like even tonight, a couple people are like, "Oh, you live close to me," and it's chats we weren't talking about because they were just talking to each other. And I love when that happens, when other people form communities because they're like, "Oh, we have this mutual friend that we don't actually live near, but we live near each other." So, yeah. Start it. There's a friend down in Dayton who comments in the Discord all the time. He's been doing coffee outside. He started it in the winter. I don't think anyone's been showing up yet, and he's still posting it every week, and he's still doing it every week, and that's how it starts, right? Like
Yeah. Let's just see. And sorry, Brad commented about my rides are just far. Yeah, agreed,
yeah,
dude. Like, totally get that. And I know that you're Brad runs a birthday ride and has done some stuff. I'm
hmm.
like, yeah, I would love to, but he's right. Like, we're just far enough. And Long Island is such a pain in the ass for like where I'm at and vice versa. So like,
Because you have to go
like
through New
5 hours.
York.
That's the reason why I haven't been out to your thing either, Brad.
I just watched a huge video about this. For 60 years, they've been trying to just put this bridge between Bridgeport and Port Jefferson, and they've never
Mm.
got it done. But that's one of the huge things is what anywhere on Long Island, you have to go through New York, and it's just not practical,
Yeah,
right?
no, that's
I
really
mean,
hard.
the ferries, but well, yeah, which I love because I don't live near the coast. But
Um,
what else you got?
yeah, that was the list.
Yeah, that's pretty good micro list. I like micro BS.
Yeah,
Micro
quick,
BS.
rapid lightning round.
Yeah, lightning round. Yeah.
But I thought like this was, I think, making this list because I've been trying to keep like a running tab and like, yeah, constantly I'm just trying to thinking of things. I'm like, we just got 15 minutes off of that, right? Or so, but like,
Yeah.
man, to try to stretch that in 2 hours. And
Yeah.
not that all of our BS episodes, I feel like we are pretty good about kind of going with the flow and we do asides and it's always fun.
Yeah.
But like, I feel like it'll be easier to come up with smaller topics like that, just more consistently and keep a running list. And happy to do work ahead of time too, to like, so that I can give you my two or whatever ahead of time, two things. So you
Oh
can
yeah.
put them out together and stuff like that. So if we wanted to try that a few times, I definitely would be down.
Nice. Yeah, and again, as this video posts either in the live chat now or if you're seeing this after, if there's any suggestions for this concept, because we'll do it every other week, let us know. But
Mm-hmm.
or just like we've always said, because sometimes I think it's come from the chat where we're like, we start talking and someone says this is BS, and we're like, oh yeah, let's add that to the.
Yeah, so I want to do the more movies. Silka just posted a thing. A lot of it was documentaries, which I don't feel like I would want to wait a little while before we went to doc talk.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
That's different
keep it more.
I'm not a critical. I'm not Siskel and Ebert. We're not Siskel and Ebert over here. I'm not going to fact check
No.
these things.
No, exactly. And it's like, well, yeah, it's to make a documentary about something, it's got to be a good story, so it's less fun. I feel like. So I think we still haven't covered enough. I think at some point, if we will run out of fictional ones, but there's definitely I wrote some down. But the one about the track bike guy seemed interesting. Was that Flying Scotsman?
Yeah.
About the started doing the more track bikes, and then what's the other one that I saw that was? Oh, there's some animes too that I were not on my radar at all that he had put in that Yawamushi pedal. I'm not a huge anime person, but I'd be willing to watch
Same.
a bike centric one. Give my opinion
One
on
of the
it.
biggest animated ones that everybody has been saying since I've been into bikes, even before I had a YouTube channel. Yeah, Triplets of Belleville.
Yeah,
And
that was on the list too. I wrote that down. No way, I have not seen it, so that'd be coming in. And then the Bicycle Thieves, which is an Italian one, was one that wasn't on my radar.
I think I watched that when I had a movie, like, because I'm not a huge movie guy, and I had a movie phase, like, in my early 20s when I had access for some reason. And I do think I watched it, but there's zero memory, so it'd be totally worth watching again. And then also, like you said, figuring out doing the Discord mutual screening thing. And it doesn't mean you have to be there, but it would be an option. It would be an option to be there, like so.
Yeah, I think that would be a fun one too. So yeah, I think I just want to say as we're wrapping up the year though that I have really enjoyed doing this, and I'm really thankful that you invited me back at Gunks to do this, and that we followed. We did not just say shit, we did shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we literally sat around the fire. For anyone who doesn't know how this started, we were at Gunks Not Dead, and is that early April or mid-April?
Yeah, mid-April. Yeah,
and we're sitting around the fire, and this is before we started singing all our favorite Mountain Goat songs together. And he says, "Basket bikes are bullshit." He basically says something about this line. I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "This is my hot take. This is the thing that annoys everyone." And he went on, and I was like, I should have you on the live stream to talk about this because this is crazy talk.
This is I think way back when I first started watching you and we first started becoming friends, you had concepts of doing more like show-based things. I think at one point you had almost like a newscast, right, type of concept.
That was
which
what I was
always
hoping.
thought was a cool idea. It's so much work that I understand why that one didn't come to fruition. But like, I always agreed that I think live streams are a little bit more fun when there's more people and B, like that there's like, topic. So was happy to contribute. And I feel like I've gotten to know a lot more of you in the chat, which has been fun because it's always nice to meet more bike people and things like that. Inspire me to maybe make some more content. I hate that word, but to make some more bike content next year. Especially, we've been talking offline, but I'm got some time off here, semi-chosen, semi-forced on me that I won't be working, so I'll have some more time to do some of that stuff. So I might try to do some more things, and your channel is definitely inspiring for that. So I really want to thank you for inviting me to do this, and it's been something I genuinely look forward to doing all the time.
Same, it's mutual. When I go on like the week that you're not here, I'm like, oh man, I just got to do this. But yeah.
No offense to the chat, but like I think that was the other impetus when we were in that same conversation. I was like, do you ever get tired of just like reading through the comments? Because a lot of times when you're by yourself, like that's all you can do. You don't have any way to bounce it off of. So it's just like you're holding 5 different repeated conversations separated out, which is fine, but like it's hard to go back and watch those. So if I can catch the live stream live, I'm not going to watch them afterwards because it's hard to follow that. The moment, you know what I mean? So I think that was too. It was nice to fill that void for you too.
Yeah, this is definitely more. I think as we've done this for a while too, we've fallen definitely into a podcast style where it's like introduction, just chatting, main topic, then going wherever it makes sense to go, but with the added benefit of having an interesting live chat of people who are talking about what we're talking about. So yeah, it's definitely worked out great. So 1, you're welcome, but 2, I think the thank you goes the annoying thank you for your thank you.
Yeah, and it was nice. We usually got to talk a few times a year, so it's been nice to like get to talk more often and really become better friends over it. I would say I would be interested too, and potentially maybe in person potentially too. I could find that interesting.
When I got the notification from your email, I was out doing Christmas shopping on my bike. I thought that's what your email was going to say, that we should occasionally add a third person.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely down for that. I didn't want to assume, I'm thankful enough that you invite me. I didn't want to like say like, oh, but I would be down for that. Like, people I think it would be interesting. There's that video. I know you know a world that is so specific to our world that somebody involved in that video game has to have come from our world of bikes. And I want to figure out who it is and like talk to them. And this would be a great, I think, venue to like do that and have some, ask questions and do things like that. Cause I feel, like, you know what I mean? Like it would be one thing to just do that, but it'd be cooler to do it in like a public forum. So
it'd be, and that's,
I can do some more heavy lifting to make things happen as well.
And I also think if we've had one of the good BS topics, if someone like was the counterpoint to something we agreed on, to do a follow-up on, to get someone like a strong counterpoint. Of course, our stream is now dropping right at the end, so perfect time to sign off, I guess, for the year, right?
Sounds good.
But yeah, awesome. Have a Merry Christmas. I hope you guys and the kids and the family tomorrow
Happy
have a great
New Year.
time. Yeah. All right. See you in 2026, everyone.
Sounds good. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this time.
Fitzwater photo.